sir. Yeah.
Nice. So I will see you there. You got everything booked and everything?
Yep.
All right. Sorry, let me just get to my screen so I can see this live. There we go. Ah, I'm not seeing it. Come on. Sorry. Okay. I'll get there. And there we go. Okay, here we are. Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of Obsessed with Lawn Care. I'm your host, Freddie, and I've got Orbin with me today. Before we start, I want to just let everybody know these podcasts sound really good when you put your headphones on. If you're working throughout the day, keep doing what you're doing, but let's throw this on. And if you're not a subscriber, you listen to this whole thing and you get some value out of it, I'm asking you to please subscribe. That's the deal that I'm asking you to do. If you listen to this whole podcast and you like it, if you don't, let me know in the comments what I could do better, and maybe next time you'll agree and then you'll subscribe then. So anyway, there's 59% of people that watched the last video that did not subscribe. That's quite a bit. Every little bit will help me. And if I get the channel to go as big as I want it to, I will start doing these videos edible style, doing shop tours with people like Orbin over here. I have been to his shop already. This is my good buddy Orbin. We've been friends now for probably 2 years. Would you say that?
Yeah.
A fellow YouTuber. You know what? If you want to put your YouTube channel in the comment here so that other people can click it, go for it. While we're talking here, I should have did that earlier. Maybe I'll do it afterward too. But Orbin is very similar to me. I think we connected and kind of became really good friends right from the start because we're very similar in the way we run our businesses. At least that's what I think. We never really compared what we do, but talking to you, I feel like you're somebody that likes to delegate work, kind of like I do, pushing the work from office style selling and making sure the operations flow in the way you want. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there because I think that's every time we talk, whether on the phone or in person, that's kind of the vibe I get. So why don't you introduce yourself, Orbin? And again, this is one of my lawn care brothers, and I'm really excited to get this started.
Well, hey, hello everybody. So I'm Orbin Guerra with PNG Landscaping from North Carolina. Um, I guess just Freddie was just kind of sharing with us how many people watch the videos and they don't subscribe. So I was one of the subscribers for his channel in the early days. I don't know. I think that was maybe in the hundreds of subscribers or something like that.
Wow.
The very very early days, whenever you were the spraying, doing videos of the spraying jars and all that. So I
Yeah.
think that was back in 2016 or something like that. Does that sounds about right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So for all those people that watch the videos and they don't subscribe, you better hit that button and subscribe.
Appreciate that.
So
Yeah, Orbin.
yeah, we've been friends with Freddie for the last 2 years, but I've been subscribed. I have subscribed to his channel for a while, so I kind of know the guy a little bit on, I would say, on what he kind of does and this and that. So and pretty much we kind of run the business kind of the same way. So on that side, that's what I am, and and I will go from here and just kind of share with you guys the stuff that the Freddie wants to share with you guys.
Yeah, and like I said, I went when I was in North Carolina last year. No, has it been a year already? It's been no, it
Yeah,
hasn't been
you're
a.
close.
It's been a while. You know, you gave me a shop tour, which is super impressive. So what Orbin has is basically he bought a house with a nice setup. It's commercially zoned, I believe, and got an awesome back with a gate and everything. I mean, if you were to look at it, you'd think, oh, I could run a business out of this place. Also has a big front yard. I don't know. Are you going to utilize that front yard or you're not allowed to for
We're not
zoning?
allowed to.
Okay. Yeah, because that's a big space, even for parking or something.
Mhm. So,
But
but
yeah,
we're actually, as today, well, as yesterday, we have the property right behind us. that under contract as well. So if we need to expand
Nice.
the backyard, yeah, we're gonna expand it out. We're under contract with the property behind us.
So, what made you get into that and buying the property outright? I think that's something really smart. That's one thing I know about you, man. You're very smart. Think about things like that. I got to do that soon because my landlord is selling the property that I'm on, and so I do have a contract. So I do have some time lease, but so now I'm forced to think like this, and I should have been thinking like this a while ago. But so what made you think about it like so soon? And it seems like you're expanding on that and buying more properties. What's the plan behind that, or how did that all start?
So let's say, right, we started in the early days and we were very scrappy. So we ended up starting with just, I think, all our equipment was under 12 or $13,000. And we started, with the ugly shovels and all this other stuff. So the first thing that we did is what we went. We used to park on my brother's house, and then eventually we moved to a storage facility. We stay in the storage facility for years, adding like one being at a time, one parking lot at a time. And as the business was growing and we were adding crews and more trucks, we were adding more units to our lease. So there was a point where where everything is, the office is here, the the materials are here,
Mhm.
and the workers are here, and you want to kind of give the employees like a little more defined role, like so they can know where the office is. Because back in the days, the office was, I was running all the stuff from the truck and this, or someone was working virtually with us. So we kind of just just decided to buy our own shop, um, just to kind of make things more consolidated in one place. So we can have the office in one place, and we can have the crews dispatch in the same place, and we can have the materials and everything in one place. So it
So
was needed.
what made it be a purchase instead of like looking for a lease?
Well, whenever I did the numbers, and I saw, this was in 2021, and I saw the interest rates, they were like 4%. And like the property that we have, we pay like $1,400. So just make the
Yeah.
numbers. It would not make sense to go and rent, because it probably will cost me like close to $3,000. If I buy it, I'm gonna pay way less. So it was a numbers game, and it was. We'll find the right property for us. So it just makes sense on our end. The
Yeah.
numbers don't lie, and and we did have the money to put the money down and buy the property. We still own the property. We still paying the mortgage, but it just on the number size, it makes sense. It made it more sense to buy than rent.
Yeah, and then you can't worry about some landlord selling it over you and then you going, what's gonna happen here? Like what do I gotta do? You know, or having the lease go up and re-signing and that whole process. So that's good for you. And I just love that you do those kind of like you think about that and it makes sense. Like I thought about that in the past too, but it wasn't like something I felt like I needed to do. But now it's like, damn, I should have, you know? So that's really smart. What other kind of numbers do you look at where you're like, you know what, maybe people aren't doing it this way, but because I look at the numbers, I'm going to do this. Like, what kind of things do you think you focus on with because of numbers?
Because the numbers, I do focus on the internal way that we run the company. Like I will say, the costs is, how much you're paying on payroll, um, how much we're paying for office administrators, like, people to run the business. And we think about that based on labor as well. How much we're paying on labor for each individual to get the work done. So I'm a numbers guy. Well, I will say I'm a numbers guy, but I just went to like eighth grade in college, so I'm not that great with numbers. But on my head, if you give me a calculator, I can come out with some stuff.
Yeah.
So
So what services do you offer?
yeah. So we basically offer. I will call us 90% maintenance. So we
Okay.
offer mowing, we offer fertilizer and weed control, we offer leaf cleanups, bush trimming. we do a little bit installation, not much, just enough to keep just for our recurring clients. Um, and then we do irrigation and startup and winterize and erection and overseeding, those kind of stuff like that. So I would say we kind of cover 90% of our customer needs.
Do you do sprinkler repairs or no?
We don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is there a lot of irrigation out there or no?
it is. There it is. It just we just haven't. We were trying to focus one, to grow in a specific areas, and we didn't want to grow too many directions. So eventually, I know that we're gonna add a sprinkle repair. Not a sprinkle installation, but a sprinkle repair.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm planning to grow a little bit more to make that happen. So just to have a little more help, a little more managers in place so that way we can delegate and they can take over those kind of.
Yeah, right on. I think that's smart not to go into everything. Like I feel like you already offer a lot of services, so you have the mindset of making sure that the customer doesn't need to go look elsewhere. That's kind of how I think about it. And sprinklers is something that I just kind of felt like I had to get into, and then it became kind of a passion of mine. But definitely didn't rush into it, and even still, I would say, as big as our sprinkler division is, it's still something that is maintained slowly in house so that we don't go too crazy because, you can always kind of mess it up and then kind of have to start over kind of thing. But so what's that operation look like for you? Like you got foremans, who's overseeing everything and how many crews do you have? Not I don't need to know exact numbers, but like who manages the operation and that kind of stuff for all the different divisions?
Okay, so what we are, I mean, we are. I think we consider us as still a small company. So I'm most of the time here in the office Monday to Friday, and I normally manage like all the company, right? And I do
Hmm.
manage like the mowing crews because that's pretty easy, just having their schedule ready. I don't dispatch their routes, so it's just more than the morning having a little meeting with them and checking if they need anything.
So who
And kind of,
dispatches those
I do have a virtual assistant that dispatch
okay
all the
and
mowing
routes them?
process.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, they dispatch, they route, they organize everything. They do the same for the mowing division and for the fertilizer division.
Okay. And when
And
you say small company, I mean you are 1.5 million, so it's not like really small. A lot of our listeners, that's pretty decent size. So, like, I would
yeah,
say that that's pretty good size.
I used to think that was a big number as well. But now when I'm here in this place, I'm just thinking that it's kind of small.
Yeah.
If I'm still involved in the business, I consider that we're still small.
Yeah. I felt like I noticed the biggest like bump in finances, like revenue wise, and just feeling like, wow, I went from small. I understand with you. Like I'm at 2.2 and I feel like that's kind of small, but 1.5 to 2 million, I saw the biggest change in the business and my life and everything. So you're like right there because the difference between 1.5 and 2, not really much personnel change, not many managers change, but the revenue's up a lot higher, It's a big difference there. So that's a really exciting time there. Uh,
Yeah.
so
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 mhm.
random question, who does the virtual assistant for you?
I do have a person that works full time with us,
Okay.
virtually.
Right on. So it's in-house, just they work from home or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I would say they were from outside the U.S.
So what happens when somebody, let's say somebody a fence broke or something like that? Who goes and checks that out?
Well, let's say I'm most involved in the business, right? So I'm like I will be your general manager, and I kind of manage the mowing crews. But then I have my brother, which is my partner, is this guy over here. So my brother, he's in charge of the fertilizer crews. So he
Okay.
makes sure that he meets for them, he meets with them, he dispatches them, he checks the notes and everything else that they need. If there is anything needed that needs a repaired or something that needs to be moved around, he's the one that manages that. So I'm more like in the office and whatever it is needed outside, and he's
Gotcha.
more he got everything outside most of the time.
That's awesome. So that's a good arrangement there. So, like I told everybody earlier, but some of you guys are new now. I did go to North Carolina for a shop tour event that me and Orbin are part of, which, but when I was there, Orbin took me out to lunch and with his brother, and it was just totally treated me awesome. I really appreciate that, man. I still remember that time, and I really appreciate that you did that, and your brother was awesome. So, what is that like working with your brother in such a like close, management kind of partnership?
I will say I love it and for the most part, but we do, it's like having another marriage, right?
Yeah,
So
totally.
everybody that is married, they will understand that what I mean with that. So it could be a nice marriage and it could be a nasty marriage, but well, it's nice. Most of the time I love working with my brother. He's been in this industry for close to 20 years, so he's very handsome. So that guy, he loves to be outside. I mean, he normally runs away from the computer, but he loves to be outside.
Yeah, and I
Um,
could I could tell that when I was there when he was showing me the yard and all the where you guys get set up and everything, and you could tell he was really, on it, and that's really
yeah.
important to need to have there. Were you guys together like the whole time, like right from the start with this business?
We started together. So yeah, we started together from the beginning. And then we just, I mean, like let's say we used to work for the company that we did the tour, right? So
Yeah.
we like we let them know like 3 or 4 months in advance that we were gonna quit because we were the crew leaders that used to run the installation crews. So we let
Okay.
them know, like, look, we're gonna give you guys this much time to train someone else to take our role, and then we're gonna start our own. We didn't
Yeah.
know back then what we were gonna do yet because, like, I know, like, my brother knows like installation, like from A to C, and I know a little bit of papers and retaining. So originally we thought that we were gonna go to the installation side just because that was our bread and butter.
Hmm.
um, but then we decided that, I mean, we financially we were not ready. Like, we
Okay.
didn't have the money. We were starting as scrappy. Like, I
Can
mean,
you talk a little
um,
bit more about that? Because that's kind of how I started too. I was going to do landscaping, and then I went more towards maintenance. What was your thought process behind that? I know you said you didn't have the financial, capital to get that going, but like, what do you mean?
yeah. So let's say this way, right? So as you guys can tell, my English is not that great. I'm still working on it and pushing myself to learn more. And I normally listen to a lot of books so I can improve a little bit better. But back then, 9, 10 years ago, my English was like terrible. I mean, I could barely speak a little bit. So, to sell a job, big installation jobs with that English was not gonna be possible. Oh, I was
Okay.
gonna undercharge those kind of jobs. And plus we didn't have the finances to support
Hmm.
those big installations.
Hmm.
So we did it for like a year or two. So we grew fast. I think in the first year we hit like 150,000, just me and my brother. Then the next year we hit like 350. Whenever we were at 350, we saw like jobs that we were, losing money just because we were undercharging. Plus, I mean, we didn't even know what the stuff was. We were
Yeah.
undercharging. So I would go on the weekends. I will meet the client and then go on the weekends to SiteOne or all these suppliers to quote the stuff that the client wants. Like I will go and quote like 100 different, like 10 different paper colors and styles and all this. So I was creating this big hassle. And sometimes it was not even ready in one week because next week I come out to the client and they want something totally different. And just the process, and we were doing some jobs and we were not making good money. I will say, I
Yeah.
mean, we were getting more referrals from those jobs, but we were not making enough money. So
Yeah.
we
I
were like,
think that's.
this is
Yeah. I
this is
think
kind
that's.
of fun.
Yeah. A lot of people when they start their own thing, they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll offer a whole variety, whatever the customer wants," but it's more like, "Hey, you start learning that this is what you offer, and if the customer wants it, great. If not." So I think that's where a lot of people get messed up. It's like, what color do you want? We'll go any color you want. And then you're just kind of thrown all over the place. What about payroll? Like during those times, did you have employees?
So in the first year we didn't have employees, but the second
Okay.
year we did. We hired our first employee, and yeah, so we were. I mean, we thankfully because we were working outside, so we were very efficient. So even if we undercharge a job, we will get it still get it done, and we still will make some money. There
Yeah.
were a few that we kind of lose our hats. We lose a little bit. We make money, but just not enough to cover all the work.
And it
But
was basically you and your brother doing most of the labor, and I'm assuming you were more focused on numbers, and he was a little more focused on getting the work done. Uh, is that
yeah,
right?
well, yeah. Back then we were like he was mowing by himself, and then because year number two we bought two trucks. So with the first year we saved money to buy the next truck, and then we were gonna split. So he was doing mowing, and then I was doing like mulch installation, pavers, and retaining walls, and everything that was needed, whatever we could sell in the second truck. And so I
So
was selling the jobs and installing them at the same time. And
gotcha.
when a client needed a quote for mowing, I was the one quoting the jobs too, or whatever it was. So we used to make jokes because we used to be like, "Oh, do you guys do irrigation repair?" Yeah, we do. We do have someone in the company that can do it.
Turn
And then the
around.
next day it was us.
Yeah, dude. That's how it is, man. So, when you went to maintenance, how long did it take you to get your footing together? Where you were like, your first 500K in maintenance. How long did that take you?
It probably took us a little over than 8 years,
Okay.
7 years, because we were still like battling all these other things. So I mean, in the early days, we went and we got a good amount of clients knocking on doors, and putting door hangers, and putting business cards in the mailbox, and talking to the neighbors. I mean, you're just trying to get out there, then getting our Facebook page in place, our website, which we started really scrappy to. And
Yeah.
we hired someone from Craigslist to get it
Yeah.
to build our website. And so from there, I mean, we started. I was listening to a lot of podcasts, books, and finding people like you, like they are sharing this kind of stuff right now. And I was just finding this kind of people listening to the podcast, and I will take one of those nuggets and go and implement those things.
So, what
So,
lessons would you say you learned in that time? To get you to five, it took you like 7 or 8 years. What lessons do you think you learned that if somebody starting could get to five a little bit faster? What lessons would you say you learned for them to be able to go there at that
so
at a decent pace?
yeah, one of the lessons is sometimes we underestimate what we can get done in a day. And especially as you're running all over the place, sometimes you are very inefficient.
Hmm.
Especially, I mean, we used to have one truck in the beginning. So on that truck, we used to use it for mowing, for carry materials. So it was a box truck. So we will put river rock, paper materials, and all these things. So I just learned in the early days the inefficiency, it was gonna kill us. And
Yeah,
I normally like to improve things a little bit at a time.
me
So
too.
so trying to organize the workload and saying no to some clients, and just because they were outside of our service area, and adjusting our pricing basing on knowing our numbers, that was gonna you know help us to move forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were the main key things that help us out.
So, recapping on that, one of the things you would do is push more work. So when you say underestimate the amount of work you get done in a day, like were you guys leaving early, like just doing like I don't know, mowing 20 houses and then calling it a day, because just not adding any more, or what?
Yeah, somewhere in there, right? So sometimes we will have like maybe 8 properties. We will get those 8 properties done in a day. I mean, we will just go above and beyond just because we want to keep those clients. So we were overdoing, too
Gotcha.
much
Yeah.
work just to keep those clients happy, but it was outside of our contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then whenever we just kind of look and we're like, no, this is actually what they are paying on the contract, so let's
Mhm.
keep it. Let's still give them a good service and make their money worth. For
So
what they are paying for.
one thing I forgot to ask you: are you commercial or residential or both?
I would say 99% residential, 1%
Okay.
commercial. So we do
Oh,
have a
right on.
little bit here and there.
Right on. So what when I'm just kind of curious how you do your your services and how you sell those. Do you sell them as a package or do you sell them separately kind of like I do? Same customer, we do their garden maintenance, mowing, even sprinkler repairs, fertilizer, but it's all charged whenever that worker gets there, does whatever they're supposed to do, they leave and then we charge for that. We charge at the end of the day. So sometimes there are two services or more done, and we'll charge them all. But there's no packages. Do you guys do it similar like that, or do you do it like a package?
So let's say right here in this area, it's very common where someone comes out and they offer you all the services for the whole year, and they split everything into 12 monthly installments. So that's very
Okay.
common here. We kind of look into that, and I didn't want to take the liability just because sometimes you probably will do a lot of more work to the property. They can cancel right in the middle, and there is
Hmm.
nothing that you can do other than go with the legal stuff. So we ended up just putting mowing and fertilizer together as a package. We do
Okay.
42 pieces for mowing and then 7 pieces for fertilizer. We combined those two services together. And the total cost for the year, we split it into 12 monthly installments, but they pay the first month in advance. That
Nice.
way, most of the time and they pay the first month in advance. So if they want to cancel, most of the time we are kind of even. It doesn't go too far. Most of the time, in our contract, it says that we're gonna recalculate their loan usage if they want to cancel, before the year ends.
Hmm.
We normally recommend to stay a year just to go to cover the full contract just because it's breaking down that way. But if in one case they want to cancel for whatever reason, they can cancel anytime,
And then,
and we will recalculate what they already paid with the service that we already provided. If there any discrepancy in there, we will adjust the invoice.
do you ever give money back if they cancel and it's after doing your adjustment or whatever? Realize, oh, we might owe them some money. Do you ever do that?
Yeah, normally no, just because most of
Okay.
the time they own us a little bit.
Yeah.
Most of the time is we were breaking even with. I mean, we were like month to month covering all the bases.
I do love the idea of monthly payments for the whole year. That just, but
Yeah,
you are
but
year round work too.
I
We're
will
not.
only do is you're offering maybe just two core services, not all these other services in there.
Right on.
Because
So what?
the cash flow is gonna, is you're performing like let's say a lot of trimming and all these things, and they cancel in November after you do all the heavy lifting, and
Yeah,
they're gonna own you a good amount.
yeah. So what is that? Would you say is the con, or the pro and con? Like the negative part about it is them canceling after the busy seasons, or what other pros or cons are there
Yeah, so
to that?
for us, if they cancel, we just calculate the loan usage. I mean, we haven't had any problems just because it's very fair. I mean, let's say they cancel in November with these 35 mowing visits and 5 or 6 fertilizer visits by that time. So we just calculate the cost because they even know that we're giving them a contract. Every line item has a price per visit, so they're gonna know exactly what it's gonna be. So what we do is we just calculate and we see, oh, they own us a little bit, and we just send the final invoice. We don't have a problem, especially we don't want to have people tied to a contract if they don't need to.
Right.
So that's the thing that we kind of help with that, and it kind of help us too is just because it's just a steady, and we know that we're gonna be in the property. We sell them 45 pieces, so throughout the winter, from January to March, we still going to the property to prune like roses, crepe myrtles. We try to spend the same amount that we will spend on a property on a mowing visit, but we will do something else. We will blow off the property. We will spray the weeds and the flower beds, and we will prune a few roses or a crepe model, whatever is needed to cover the time. From January to March, we have 7 visits. So in those 7 visits, we try to get all their winter pruning, which is just gonna be roses, crepe models, grasses and things like that die off in the winter.
And what's the communication look like at that point to the customer when you are, doing these things that need to be done, but to let them know, hey, you were there to do it? Because I would imagine they're kind of on the lookout. What are they going to do this week? If it's like a slow week, or because they may not know what their gardens look like. Is there communication that you guys do?
Yeah, well, thankfully, not much because we just go on our regular visits. I mean, you will see if the property needs blowing, we will do the blowing and the spraying of the weeds, and that
So
will cover the
basically,
visit.
your crews are there at this customer's house every Wednesday, and
Yeah,
that's it, kind of thing.
yeah,
So it's not
and
like
then,
randomly, oh, we're gonna go to Mrs. Smith's house this
yeah,
week.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you
Okay.
just put it in the winter. It's gonna be by weekly instead of weekly.
So how many mow visits are there a year for you?
Uh, for,
Being where it doesn't snow. I don't think it
mhm.
snows in North Carolina. Um, maybe it does. Does it or no?
Maybe we get a 1 or 2 inches a year.
Okay, the whole year. So how many mow visits do you kind of let your customers know when they sign up and they say, "Hey, how many times are you guys going to mow this year?" What do you say?
So we do 35. That's our
Okay.
mowing visits. But then there is gonna be those other 10 visits. They're gonna be leaves, pruning. So most of the time from November all the way to March, we're not mowing. Or we're mowing as needed. So because let's say one of those winter visits, like I mean, here the weather is all over the place. So sometimes in February we're hitting the 60s or 70s. So if the grass is already growing. So if it needs a mow, we just mow it, and
Right
we'll
on.
do the yeah, and we'll do the winter pruning later on. So just to keep it, just to keep it easier for the clients. At the end of the day, you're hiring us to maintain the lawn and to prune the stuff in the winter. It's gonna get done anyways. It might get done in January, in February, or March, but we're gonna get our pruning done
Yeah.
one of those times.
We tried doing something similar because it snows here for 12 weeks. It doesn't snow the whole time, but there's 12 weeks of snow. And so we tried doing that, asking a few customers, hey, if you keep paying your mowing price every week, and if it snows every day of the week, you're only going to get charged that one visit. But if it doesn't snow, you're still going to get charged. So we had a handful of people do it over the years, and we've had nothing but problems with it. Sometimes it doesn't snow for 6 weeks and the customers gets mad that they paid every week and it didn't snow. And then sometimes it'll snow like 3 times in one week and the customer will cancel because it doesn't snow a week later. But I'm like, we just pushed your house 3 times. So we stopped that and just charged the customers full price for the whole winter, as a separate service. And it actually works out better for us too. So sometimes just trying something new, feeling the bite, the sting of it is a good idea, just so not to do. But what
Yeah.
kind of so real quick, somebody asked a question while we're on topic. So you spray weeds even in winter? I'm assuming that's your for you. Do you do that in the wintertime?
Yeah, in our area, I mean, we don't get much snow. I mean, we still get a little, with breakthrough here and there, and the cracks or mulch bed or all those areas. Normally from winter weeds, so we do a spray like Roundup, all those kind of stuff. Oh, our properties that we do like fertilizer and weed control, we do spray them as well in the grass.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We try and spray the heavier weeds like the field buying weeds, morning glory kind of stuff, the pain in the butt weeds really late fall, because that's the best time to do it. So actually, if weeds are growing in the wintertime, this is just one of those nerdy school things I learned. In the weeds are growing even a little bit in the wintertime and you spray them, it'll take it all the way down to the roots and do a better job killing them than in the spring. So um, anyway, I do have a kind of question. What is kind of like a pain point that you're seeing right now, just in general?
Yeah, I think just because the stage of business, the pain point for us is just creating that layer of managers,
Okay.
or that layer to delegate. I think that's what we need. Once because we're still figuring out stuff. We're not there yet. So I'm still learning. That's what we are in a mastermind, and we're trying to improve ourselves so we can help our other people and bring people up with us as well. So
Yeah.
on our end, that's I would say that's our biggest pain point. So because I don't know yet. Even myself, sometimes I need someone to pull my ear to get some stuff done. Especially whenever it is a busy season, I just have too much on my plate, or sometimes I just slack off a little bit.
Yeah, but there's nothing that's stressing you out right now?
Thankfully, nah. There is
Okay,
other
good.
things, but not business related.
Okay, got it. No, I get it too. The thing is, okay, so as far as leadership, I feel like I have a good opportunity to talk about that because in year 2023 to start the season, so a year ago, uh, we were we were ready for the biggest growth we've ever seen in our life. Like we were ready, right? Like we were like, we are so rich that we're gonna have the best team and ready to go. So we promoted people up to be foremans, and so we had two foremans, one for the garden division that oversaw the landscaping and maintenance, and we got to pay them more, right? Because they're not in the field, but they got to still get paid good. They're the boss of all that division, so they were paid very well. And we did that for the garden manager and a sprinkler manager. So we had a foreman that was in charge of all the sprinkler techs and make sure that he was in charge of training. And if there was a problem with a customer, that he was out there fixing it, or even with the city, he would deal with the city workers when there's a code violation on a property that we got sent out to, and we had to call the city on it. You know what I mean? Like we had all those people in place. We also had uh, more people in the office, and I will tell you, Orbin, it crushed us. It crushed us. We had eight basically people that were not bringing in money from doing work, and that the payroll of that was so high that it was one of the I think I had like four problems last year that kind of was hurting the profit in our business, and that was one of them. So what I've learned from that with having people in charge of their division is to keep them still working, but kind of make their workload a lot less than everybody else, but still bringing in a good amount of money, and then figure out a bonus system for them to be able to deal with the training and the customers that have problems and stuff like that. I just want to throw that out there so I can say at least I've said that. You know what I mean? Because that was one of the biggest pain points that I went through last year, was trying to figure out where's our freaking money going. Like, and and there is a thing about the we didn't grow as much as we thought we would. So there is something happening with people not wanting to spend more money. I mean, there's a lot of things you could say. I could blame it on everything, blame it on ourselves, but that was an issue that we saw too. How far backlog are you when you say you don't do much landscaping? How far backlog are you?
Normally, right now it's probably a few weeks.
Okay.
In the spring, we can hit like 3 months and really fast. Just because
Yeah.
our recurring mulching and planting and all this kind of stuff, trimming, we can hit in the spring 3 months, and I will say by mid-April, late April, we're normally hitting three months backlog in our schedule.
Dude, that's nice. Yeah, I wouldn't have any stress either if that was my case. We last year we were on like 2 days, bro. So like sometimes we'd have jobs for 2 days with landscaping, and then some days we didn't have anything the next day. But we're like, hey, make sure everybody comes in the morning, and then by the morning time we'd have a job sometimes. So that was
Yeah.
pretty tough. But I do have a question that I'm kind of wondering what your take is on what would you say would be a success for you, like with your business? Like at what point when you look at it, you go, that's what I think will be a success for my business.
Yeah. I mean, success for me for my business will be if I can help out other people, achieve their goals and elevate other people with me. That's what I would call success. At the end of the
Nice.
day, money is money, right? I don't think I'm a greedy person, but at the end of the day, I do wanna, have a legacy for my family as well and my kids. But I want to take other people with me in the ride as well. As John Maxwell say, take, life or your journey is a trip. It's a journey. Your life is a journey. So make sure that you bring some people on board.
Yeah, I feel like that is definitely, you can't get your personal selfish dreams until the people you work with get their dreams too. You know what I mean? So I think that's really important. What kind of steps are you taking for them to hopefully make that happen for them?
Well, here in the next, well, in 2025, we're planning to open another location,
Oh
and
wow.
so we're planning to grow to maybe like 2.2 to 2.5 to open another location, not that far from here, and we will move one of our existing employees down there to be, a manager, just to start from scratch in that place. And then we will. I'm trying to build in the back end, like an office call center, and have someone that actually does all the SEO and Google Ads and all this other stuff. And eventually, I mean, I'm really transparent with my guys, so I have tell them, look, if you want to start your business, you work here for 3 or more years, and you want me to open the books and just tell you what we did and how we do stuff, I'm definitely down for it. I wanna, as much as I wanna. One of my goals is to help other people. That would be the most ideal thing that I can do for my own employees, because
Yeah.
I could help them to go and go after it. If they feel that that's what it is, we know. For as long as I've been in business nowadays, I know that being a business owner is not for everybody, but because all the stress, all the things that go in place, financial situation, all this other stuff, we know that is not for everybody. But at the same time, if someone wants to go and pursue their dream, I mean, if I can help them, I'm all on board on that.
So we don't need to mention the company you worked for before, but I barely remember the name anyway. But I think I remember it. But when you left to go do your own thing and pursue your dream, like were they how were they? Were they supportive of that? Or
um
no?
Not really, but again, like they have their own, their own company with their own stuff. So I mean, we have really good relationship with the guys. They did ended up referring us some of people, like the word of their area to us, so that kind of help us out. But in the beginning, probably not that much, especially the first year, 2 years here and there. We did a
So
little bit of subcontracting as well for them.
do you
Um,
do you think that that's something you're going to remember when somebody on your team is going to be like, "Hey, I'm ready to go off on my own."
Yeah, I do. I wanna be the opposite if I can. I wanna. I mean, I have tell the guys, and I have a few that they have started their own business already,
Oh,
and
okay.
I do help them with whatever I can. But got people that we are outside of they are outside of our service areas, or they want services in a different schedule than what we offer, and we refer that to them. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, I will hate if the work goes to somebody else that I don't know. Maybe, if I can help someone that I know, and I know their family, and I know that they are trying hard to make something happen, I will definitely help them out.
Yeah, I have one of my main guys is going off and doing his own thing. Fernando is going off and doing his own thing. I think if anybody can do it, it's Fernando. But the part of me that is kind of like sad about the whole thing is that he was making really good money. And you know how it is when you start a business. I mean, I know we know a lot of people like whether in the group that we're in and just throughout this whole time meeting people. And I don't know anybody that's ever had a lot of money from the start. Like
Yeah.
I haven't seen that ever. And so I'm a little sad about that because he's going to go through a hard time. Maybe he doesn't. I'm not. I hope he makes it, but like I said, we know a lot of smart people. Even when you're one of the smartest guys I know, and I know when you started this thing, I don't think you were like making 10K a month at least going taking home, were you? I mean, right from the
No,
start.
no, we
You know
actually,
what I'm saying?
it's really funny because in the first 6 months, first 3 months, from January, March, February, January, February, and March, we didn't make a dime at all.
Yeah.
And
And
but
you're
what
one
I
of the
use
smartest
that
guys I
time,
know.
yeah. And then the next 3 months, we did a lot of work, but we didn't collect the payment. So we went for at least 6 months without getting paid.
Yeah. So that's the only part that I have big dreams for my business, and I'm sure you do too. Where we have I guess a 4-year goal, maybe 5-year, to be at, if I remember right, 18 million. You know what I mean? So we got big dreams, and it's just sad to know that somebody that helped us get to this point is not going to be there, because you know how much money they'd be making if they were. You know what I'm saying? And because we've got these systems in place that somebody like Fernando helped put together and made sure, when we had a plan and he executed, we knew we had a good system going. That's going to a seat opened up for somebody brand new to come right in and start benefiting off of a lot of legwork that was put in. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but anyway, so I get sad about that. I don't like seeing, because it's already happened before. We've had people that helped us grow to this part, and they're not here, and it's like, oh man, like if they were to come back, I would say my first garden manager, her name was Stacia. If she were to come back, I'd be like, yes, this is for you. You got a place here for sure. But they're not here, and I just get sad because they helped build it to this point, and they're not here. So that's the one part that I don't like. But so you say you're expanding. What is the mindset of that? Why expand?
Well, I want to get to the place, but I'm not too involved in the business, so I can actually use my knowledge to help out other people or help out, growing different divisions or different locations.
So you're
So
saying that's mainly for like employees that are wanting to leave, because you said you're going to start a new location somewhere else, right? And
mhm.
that's not your business.
It's gonna be my business. If it's a location that we own, it's gonna be our location.
Okay, so you're kind of thinking kind of like a franchise.
Yeah, more like multi locations
Okay,
deal.
okay, cool. So it's mainly to help people.
Well, that's how we can move some of our. If we see people that they have a drive to grow, then they want to expand and they want to make more money, and
Mhm.
they want to move to improve and this. And sometimes, I mean, as a company, you only have so many places where you can move people, right?
Yeah,
So we either create them internally here in this company, or we do open other locations to start all over from scratch, and they can get a little taste as well what that looks like. Just eventually they in the future they want to start their own, they already gonna have a good knowledge on that.
right on. Okay, so you said you mentioned that eventually you're going to start sprinklers because you like doing things. You like being ready to do it. That's just like me. My next thing is going to be pavers, but we're not ready yet. So, I'm like, I look at pavers. Okay, we're going to do it eventually, but right now we're not. We're not going to jump into it. So, what other service would you see yourself possibly doing, or that interests you, uh, if you do decide to do anything else? Maybe not.
Yeah, I will. I'm actually, well, we're planning to launch this year plant care and mosquito. So we're
Okay.
gonna be working. We're planning to launch that before March,
Okay.
before the end of the March, before the end of March.
Nice. So
Yeah,
coming up.
and then eventually when we want to move into pest control, I will rather go into pest control other than instead of a sprinklers. So I have the sprinkles. We do have like 4 or 5 um sprinkles contractors that we refer the work to. So on my end, I just try to solve my customer issues with whatever I can. So I do have like a little referral system that I can refer to other guys that do stuff that we don't, and they
Okay.
refer work back to us. So it's just one of those deals.
Yeah, I I'm with you on that. Sprinklers is one of the hardest things, bro. For us, it's really hard because it's only sprinkler season for like 7 months, maybe. So there's not really a professional sprinkler guys around here, because what are they going to do for the rest of 5 months or something like that? You know what I mean? So it's not like they really feel like it's a career. It's just like a summer thing. You know what I mean? So that's really hard to keep guys like that. But for you, I don't know how it would be either. But
Yeah,
um,
we're like more like 9 months, but it's still, I still see like in the winter. I mean, I see where we can still do stuff, but I would need someone that is full on board. We have a lot of different challenges here, like pumps from lakes and backflows wells and all these other systems that were installed like 20 years ago. So it's kind of hard to get some when they really can diagnose an irrigation system. I know because we used to install them, and whenever it was time to repair, if we didn't know where the lines or where everything was, it was hard. We will spend a day just looking for wires and boxes.
Okay. So what is your so I know you don't do sprinklers and I keep throwing this at you, but actually I want to
Mhm.
know kind of like what's your setups look like? For mowing, is it two-man crew? Is it like what do those look like? The
Okay.
whole thing.
So yeah, normally for mowing is gonna be an NPR box truck. And they do have, we normally keep two guys in those trucks. 152 Toro grandstand and 130-inch Toro Time Master. Then weed eaters, blowers, and backpack to spray for weeds.
And
And
how many
they're gonna have all the gasoline, maybe like 5 or 6 cans of 5 gallon cans of gasoline for the whole week, so they can stop to the gas station one time to fill the truck and to fill all the gas cans.
okay. And it's a box truck, so with the gate opens up and whatever. That
Yeah,
is
we install a gate in the back, a ramp in the back, and they can open
okay.
it has a door in, similar to what we
Nice.
saw in the company that we visited.
Okay. Who does the fab on that? Who installs that? You guys do, or you hire that out?
No, I normally look for local fabricators to install that. I mean,
Okay.
normally runs like between 3 to 4K.
So
And
your
mhm.
so your mow guys, when you got two guys, how many lawns do they typically do a week? That one crew.
um, right, it depends, right? Property size matters. So the smaller properties they can do like 24, 25. The small properties, bigger properties maybe 15 to 20, depending on what the property size. I mean, sometimes maybe 8 or 10. It just it's all over the place. We're targeting a revenue number, so that's what we normally base.
Hmm.
As long as they hit that number, that's all that matters at the end of the day for us. So if we say properties they're gonna hit that revenue number, that's all they're gonna need on the schedule. They have because they are getting paid for commission. Normally the guys will go and start the next route and get the next day and get another 2 properties or 3 properties, whatever it is needed to finish their day.
Have you thought of going one man crew or no? Not for you
I
guys.
do have this set up now as well. Last year we were testing it as well, just because what we discussed with you in our conversations. Yeah, we did test as well too with one man crew. So we have the other setups. I think you remember the little ramp trucks, the
The
little
green is
Chevys.
yellow,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
yeah. So we do use those for one man crew last year as well. So we're testing it, but I do like the 2 man crews just because we have properties that are big and not most of our properties are not too small. Our lot size average here in this area is probably like around 12,000 square feet. So
Okay.
once one guy goes and mows, the other guy can weed it, spray the flower beds, and most of the time blow the driveways off.
Right on. So how many of those yellow trucks do you have?
I have 2 of those.
Okay. So what the yellow trucks that I just mentioned that Orbin has are like the setups that I have, like with the truck with the custom mow bed and the gate and everything. He has two of those. Yeah, and you use those even with two-man crews or no?
I've been using both ways with 2 man
Okay.
crews and with 1 man crews, just as I needed, just as needed.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't do one two-man. We okay. So on Friday, which is our extra day, there are some days where we do have two men going out on a certain day. We started with the two-man crew on Fridays to do this big it's like a trailer park that
Hmm.
that has a giant like front street curbside thing and then a clubhouse, right? So it's really big. But then at one point it's like, look, man, let's just send one guy. So we hired one guy that he was really good, but when we hired him, we said you have to work Fridays, like you have to, and we'll figure out a way to make sure he works, whether it's aeration or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Let's keep him busy. Just have him go do the trailer park today. And they're like, really? I go, yeah. And he did it. So he had 5 budget hours to get that whole thing done. 5 budget hours. Started getting it done. The first day he got it done like in 4 hours, and then every week he was still going do.
Okay. Hey, I want to say hi to Micah from Quiet Land and Roy, my boy as well. Hey, Roy. Hey, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. And everybody this in the comments. It looks like Freddy's having a call. Hey, just for a little just for a little more information, but I actually got the virtual assistant idea from Mike from Quayalon. So, hey, Mike, that worked out really well. You're back.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That was awesome. So let's see here. We are getting close on time. Before we go, I just want to say real quick, what do you see for your, what's your goal for this year?
Well, goal for this year is we wanna launch the third the shrub and mosquito, and we wanna grow another between 35 to 40% this year. Um,
Nice.
at the same time, I wanna bring eventually later on this year a general manager to
Okay.
take on my place. So on my end, I need to figure out all the stuff that I'm gonna delegate to them.
Nice. Okay,
Mhm.
so a GM,
Mhm.
somebody take over your position. So
Mhm.
that's going to take some training and all that kind of stuff, and then that'll be a good project for the year. And then getting the mosquito division up and running. So what do you think will be a success with the mosquito? Like, what kind of revenue? How many customers do you think that's going
I
to
would, li-
take?
I would like to place it like somewhere around just to hit our mark. I would say probably 100 clients just to
Okay.
start. Because that's gonna be a very repetitive service. So maybe in the first year, just because we're setting everything up, maybe I don't know, 50 to 100,000. And maybe we do the same on bushes.
Okay.
Just to kind of test the waters and see how stuff rolls.
And what's your go-to marketing style for this? I know you're going to try different things, but what's one that you're going to do right away?
I'm just gonna call my existing clients.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
the list that
definitely.
we have on the list
I
that
w-
we have on file. So
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
hoping you'd say that.
yeah. I mean, we want to fish where there is fish, right? And then
Yes.
most of the time, our existing clients probably already have another company. And if we can bring all those services in home and just one company and we organize all the schedule and all the services accordingly to not be on top of each other, I think that will be a thing that can help the client as well to enjoy their property a little bit more. And it can help us as well to offer different services for them.
So I'm kind of curious. I feel like with that kind of service, there's probably going to be customer areas, locations that are going to require it more than others, maybe around a lake kind of thing. Is that true?
Um, I think so as well. It might be. But I mean, it's just all over the place, right? Just because some clients they use the yard more than others.
Mm.
So, but I think the people around the lake probably gonna use the service more than others.
Yeah, I just feel like we went through this with snow clearing. So there's an area that we were brand new to this year for the first time ever, and it snows like crazy. Even when it rains everywhere else, it's snowing there, and we don't know it. And it's kind of a pain because we've got like 6 or 7 customers there. And so we know now that next year when we offer snow clearing, that area has to be, we're going to look at the average of how many times we went this year, and that's going to be based off the price for next year. And I just kind of feel like when there's a service that requires heavier one location, I think there needs to be some kind of like part of the pre planning is maybe factoring in a higher cost in those areas right away because we're paying a lot of workers to go there, and the customer already paid for the whole year. You know what I mean? But we're going there a lot more than everybody else, and it's kind of a pain in the butt when somebody in that area has to go work and nobody else in the company does. Like it's not. There's something there. So I don't know. I was just kind of thinking about that, and so I just wanted to mention it. But any last words, Orbin, that you got for me or anything?
Well, I mean, I know that you're in your path to help other business owners with the stuff that you're sharing. So I will say just keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Okay.
We talked before, and I think you have the heart to share with other people. So I think this is gonna be great. I hoping to see your channel grow and see other people engage in the subscription, so you can actually do those shop tours. So
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I just want to say I appreciate when I came out there to do a shop tour at the business that we all went to, and do some planning with the mastermind group. You took me to lunch, and I really appreciate that. And dude, I remember when we first met at Service Autopilot Conference. We kicked it off right from that day, and I feel like we've been good friends ever since. And so I really appreciate that, man.
well, that's awesome, and yeah, I'm glad to be part of your subscribers and be part of your friends as well.
All right, man. Well, I'll catch you. I'll catch you when I see you, probably in a week. Is it a week
Yeah,
from Monday? You know.
yeah, pretty much.
So
Yeah, in 10
yeah,
days.
yep, and in sunny Arizona, and we'll be there for a few days. So awesome, brother. I appreciate you. Thanks for doing this for me. And again, everybody, don't forget to subscribe. If this brought you value, all I ask that you subscribe. And if it didn't, put in the comments what I could do better for next time. And then if I do that for you and it's awesome, I need you to subscribe. All right, guys. Thanks. See you on the next one. Talk to you later. See you, Orbin.
All right, man. See ya.